Hello and welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast that's dumb enough to do 14 fucking weeks of X-Men movies in a row. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my extremely boring co-host. His name is Lawrence Thomas Heisey. Hello, and tell us what this show is all about.
Oh, I'll do it in the most entertaining way possible, seeing as I'm facing boring allegations this week. Hang on, Nathan, this is the show where each week we get together to discuss something in the realm of pop culture. It could be a movie, it could be a telly show, it could even be a video game. But the main thing is that we do so without any of the toxic discourse that is oh so prevalent these days, baby.
So your idea of doing it in an exciting way,
Yeah.
exciting, was by rushing through it like a panicked child, recounting a story of what happened. Well, no, it wasn't my fault. We was down at the well, and then I fell and then I broke my leg. It had that sort of cadence to it. You know?
I want to know what sort of childhood you had where you were down at the well and you fell in and broke your leg, and then had
You
to
was never
explain
down at
it.
the well? I was always down at the well.
What
What is
well?
it, boy? Trouble at the old well?
The local well.
Yeah, we're always down at the well.
Were you fetching water, or was it the local hangout?
I was just there, you know.
Just there. Fair enough.
This isn't true. There was no well. There was no well. It's just something that came into my head, so I went with it. Okay, I didn't have time. I didn't have time to plan out this scenario. Okay, Lawrence, it was an improvisation. Okay, I just fucking rolled with what came in.
Now you sound like the panicked child making up your stories, Nathan. Your little fables for the audience.
Shut the fuck up. No, don't talk about my fables. Okay,
Sorry.
okay.
It's X-Mania. We're back.
We're back, baby. Quick update on X-Mania. I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine now. Okay, so following on from my bold proclamation last week that I can make it 14 weeks without being spoiled, turned out that was not true because everyone involved in the movie was like, yeah, this has been out long enough now. We can just post literally fucking everything online. And I'm like, cool. All right, thanks, guys. So I was like, oh, fuck, I just need to go see this. So I went to see it. And we'll talk about it in 14 weeks. You still have not seen it.
I have not seen it. No, I don't know if I'll get the chance to at this point. Like,
I mean, why?
well, because I've got stuff. I'm moving house soon. I'm busy. Right, I got.
Oh, you're looking after your newborn child.
a little dog, a new dog is not even part of the family. I'm dog sitting, right? and it's a hands-on experience, is what I'll say.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to. I'll tell you what, it is certainly very cool when like every producer, director, and main cast member of the show of the movie is like, hey, this surprise? Yeah, no, not anymore. Fuck you.
I mean, to be fair, they are like, I think they're operating under the assumption where if you remotely care about this, you will have already seen it. You know? And I feel like that's true for most people. It's probably like a good 95% of people who actually care will have already seen it, you know?
Yeah, but what about the fans that are like waiting for the home release? Like, what about those people?
Go to the cinema.
Well, you've changed your tune now that you went to the cinema.
No, but I've never like been one to complain about that though.
All right, that is fair. I will give you that.
It's always been on me if I get spoiled. You know, I'm not saying, well, they shouldn't do that. You know.
Okay, all right. I'll let you off this.
I know it's my fault if I get spoiled on something.
Fine. Then I'm sorry. Okay, through gritted teeth.
Good. Lawrence advocating for the destruction of cinemas everywhere.
I'm not. I like the cinema a lot. I'm just a bit busy. I'm having a busy week.
I think you'll still be able to go. I think you'll be in cinemas long enough.
It probably will, to be fair. It's making a lot of money, so they'd be silly to pull it out. But mind you, companies are silly these days.
I mean, Spider-Man 1 is in cinemas, and that came out 22 years ago.
Yeah, but it hasn't stayed in cinemas for 22 years.
Look, as far as I'm aware, okay, I haven't checked the cinema listings the entire 22 years. All I know is I saw it was playing the other day. So as far as I'm aware, it's been ongoing the entire time. Okay.
I'm picturing you checking it once in the last 22 years. Like, oh, it's one of the rare times when Spider-Man 1 isn't playing at the cinema. Not the others, mind you, just Spider-Man 1.
Just Spider-Man 1, yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't considering going to see it, but I've got other stuff that's newer that I'd probably see first.
Oh, like fucking Purple Crayon Boy or whatever it is.
What is this?
I don't know. I'd never even heard of this movie until like it came out, and then everyone's like, "This is the worst movie that no one saw because it made $4 at the box office." Okay, and it's Zachary Levi, and he plays a little boy again, but he's a big man or something.
What happened to him? Because he got cross about Shazam 2 or something, didn't he? He got very upset on Instagram or something.
No, I think before Shazam 2 came out, he didn't he like out himself as like an anti-vaxxer or something?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he was like an anti-vaxxer or something weird like that. He was on some weird shit, man. And then Shazam 2 came out, and no one liked Shazam 2. I still haven't seen it.
Nor have I.
And yeah, and yeah, it's just been all downhill from there, basically.
I'm pretty sure, like, the week Shazam 2 came out, that was the week where they were like, none of this matters, James Gunn's doing his own thing now. And it just fucking absolutely just throttled the sales for that movie. Which it would do, of course.
I don't think anyone really cared about Shazam 2 anyway.
Shazam 1 is good. I liked Shazam 1.
Shazam 1 is good, but no, it is good. I quite like Shazam 1. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think by the time Shazam 2 came out, everyone was tired of I forgot his name. What's his name? Zachary Levi?
Yeah, Zachary Levi, yeah.
Everyone was tired of Zachary Levi's shtick, so.
Yeah, that's fair. Nathan, it's X2. X2, X-Men 2, or X2, X-Men United. What is this movie called?
X2, X-Men United is the official title of this movie, which is both horrible and amazing of a title.
It's incoherent.
It's so incoherent. Just the fucking balls to say, shall we call this movie X-Men? No. Let's just call it X2, and then we'll make up a name that sounds like a football team and put that on the end of it as well. Okay? I don't know. It's weird, but I like it. I'm here for it.
One of my favorite things about it as well is this is a movie where like the X-Men are far less united than the last movie. Like they're all over the shop doing other things.
No, I'd say they're more so.
Do you think?
Yeah, and we'll get into why.
Okay, all right. General thoughts. What do you think of X2 X-Men United?
Lawrence, you know this dance.
Okay.
General thoughts, Lawrence. What do you think of X2 X-Men United?
I think it's good. I think it's. I went in expecting good things. Everyone always says X-Men 2 is the good one, right? X-Men 2 is the good one of the original trilogy, the one that sticks out a little bit. And I agree. I was a little bit dismayed by. I'd forgotten how much of the Wolverine show it was. Like, I was expecting, like, oh, maybe it's the one where, like, Scott and Jean get a bit of good development. Nope.
Boy, are you not going to enjoy the next 13 weeks?
Yeah, I know.
That's all these movies are, mate.
I know, but I was thinking, like, maybe this is the one where, like, a little bit of accidental character development slipped in for other characters somewhere. I was wrong, but look, it's a very good movie. There's great sequences. It's way more interesting than the first one, plot-wise, because they're slightly less scared to admit that they're a comic book movie this time around, I think. What are your general thoughts, Nathan?
This movie fucking slaps, mate. This is a picture. This is a fucking movie, all right? When this movie finished, once I got over the jump scare of directed by a pedophile, I was like, fuck, yeah, now this is how you do an X-Men movie, all right? Fucking, like, everything I said last week, complete opposite. This was so much fun. I had a great time from start to finish, all right? This is cinema, Lawrence.
Okay. What do you mean when you say it's not like everything that they did last week, like, is better this week? What kind of stuff do you mean?
Because it's actually fun. It's actually good. Okay. I'm not just bored out of my mind, just waiting for something to happen. All right. I feel like it's paced so much better. It's not just like an interesting thing at the beginning, 80 minutes of nothing, and then a bad fight at the end. You know? Okay. It's actually paced well. There's stuff that happens all the way throughout it. The story is quite engaging and really interesting and stuff. I think all of it works so much better than last week. So much better. This movie is fucking 10 times better than the first one.
I think it's better served by giving it like it sounds ridiculous I'm about to call Magneto not a real villain, because he is, and he's a great one. But like in these movies, I think he works better as like a darker shadow of Charles, and there's actually someone horrifically evil doing evil stuff. And Magneto comes in at the last minute and is like, I'm evil, but you can kind of understand why I'm evil, because this guy was really evil.
And that's what he is, though. That's essentially what he is. Charles and Eric, they essentially have the same goal. It's just that Eric is much more extreme about it. It's Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. That's what the comparisons are often drawn to. It's two people with the same ideology, but their methods about it are different, really.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying it's X2 X-Men United, because
okay.
we got the whole gang together. Yeah. We got Eric on the team.
Eric and Mystique, the reluctant X-Men that are just sat in the corner of a plane making fun of all the other X-Men.
Magneto and Mystique just like being the two bitches in the corner, just like the two mean bitches in the corner, just laughing at Rogue's hair. It's very fun. I enjoy that quite a lot.
It reminded me of me and you when we were sat at house parties at uni that we didn't want to be at, and we were just like kind of throwing subtle digs at people,
just making fun of all these absolute Spice Boys, as we call them.
I haven't used that expression in fucking ages.
I know.
But yeah, no, all right, yeah, no, I take your point about the X-Men being a bit more united. I never saw him as an X-Man, but I guess he is in a way, isn't he? Like Eric.
He was one of the first X-Men.
Yeah, but then he lost his way, didn't he? He kind of went off and got radicalized by himself.
Look, anyone can be an X-Man at any point, even you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the belief in me.
You're welcome. Look, anyway, yes, great opening. So good. We had a banger opening last week, and then it all went to shit. And then we had a banger opening this week with Nightcrawler's attempted assassination of the president. So good. Everything about it. Just the music, the way it's choreographed, the way like the Secret Service, that at first they don't understand what they're dealing with. They're like, oh, multiple targets. There's just one guy. It's just fucking teleporting, but they don't know that. It's so cool, man. It's all so amazing.
They must be sat there like, God, these guys are really good with their smoke bombs. They keep disappearing into thin air and then reappearing somewhere else.
They don't know what they're up against. It's good, though. It looks so great.
It does. It looks incredible. A lot of this movie looks fucking insane, I think. But, like, I love... These are the moments in X-Men movies that I love, when they just they slow down a little bit and they go, here's a mutant, and here's a really cool scene of them using their powers. Like, we'll talk about the Quicksilver scene in Days of Future Past, but, like...
No, we won't.
No, not today. Soon.
No, we won't.
Will we not?
No, we'll skip past it entirely.
Oh, okay, good. For a second, I was worried the best one wasn't on the schedule. No, but I think it's kind of rad. Like, it ends with the knife has a ribbon on it that says "Mutant Freedom Now," and I'm like, oh, political stuff is heating up, Nathan. This war is a brewing.
I mean, it starts with an attempted assassination on the president, Lawrence. I think, like, if it gets to after that point and you went, wait a minute, is there a political message here? I feel like maybe someone might be going over your head.
I did the Leonardo DiCaprio point at the TV meme. I was like, wow, I got it.
Wait a minute, is this fucking political?
No, but it's fun, isn't it? Like, we find out later he's being kind of like brainwashed to do it or whatever, but like, yeah, he looks like he's having fun. Like, it's a person that's really good at using their ability really well. Like, it's fun to watch him just take out like 20 dudes and they're all clueless. Even
though he doesn't want to, he's just a blue little church boy. All right.
Yeah, he loves Jesus.
He loves Jesus. He's a blue church boy. He's a blue German church boy. Okay, he doesn't want to be there, but hey. He's good at it. Anyway, then we open up on the real hero of this movie, the Wolverine. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
What is going on? All right. I feel like everyone is like, look, we know he's called the Wolverine. Okay, but Wolverines are not as cool as wolves. Okay. Wolverines are weird little, like, basically like badgers with claws, basically, which is not as cool as a wolf. So we're just gonna say he's a wolf, okay? So just shut up, everyone. Just shut up and pretend he's the Wolverine, okay?
There is a bit of that, isn't there? Like, it's let's make this cooler somehow. We're stuck with this name. It's iconic. We can't do anything about it. Like,
Wolverine just means wolf now, okay? Don't worry about it, okay? He's the lone wolf, all right?
Yeah, all right, we'll get to this a little bit later, but I briefly want to talk about his look. 'Cause it's
I'm
worse.
so glad you brought this up because I also want to talk about his look. What the fuck were they thinking, man? What on earth is going on? This easily has to be worst Hugh Jackman hair in all of these movies,
Yeah.
right? It's awful, horrendous.
My problem with it is it's seemingly a bit more rigid.
It's so pronounced. It's
Yeah.
so big.
It is, and I feel like he's too clean shaven for a man that's supposedly been traveling. And it's the same problem I had last week, where they're showing me a guy who's a bit of a gruff guy, and they're like, this guy's he doesn't look after himself. He's a wild animal. This Wolverine. But then like you're showing me a man with perfectly trimmed sideburns and ecstatically gelled hair.
You want him to look more like he does in like the opening of The Wolverine, do you? When he's like living in a cave or whatever, and he's a big feral beast.
It's certainly a look. I think there's a healthy middle ground. Just like, I don't know, use better products in the hair that doesn't make it look like he's been gelling it himself that morning.
The hair is it's like that would take like about fucking at least 30 minutes of work to do that hair, you know? The amount of hairspray you're gonna have to put on to fucking get your fucking pointy ends to stick up like that.
Yeah,
Insane.
and this man's fighting and stuff as well. Like I'm picturing him waking up in the morning being like, might see Stryker today.
And his perfectly trimmed beard and his mutton chops and stuff. It's all too much. He's too groomed to be the Wolverine.
It's a bad look, and I'm glad I mean, we've got to suffer through it for a few more weeks, but they start to do away with it. They start letting him have natural flowing hair that is a bit less absurd.
My favorite Wolverine look might be a bit of a hot take, but we'll get to it.
I don't know. Mine feels like it should be obvious, but maybe that's because it's my own spicy hot take too.
Well, we'll see. We'll get to it. We'll get to them.
Okay.
We'll see them when they come up. We will all of these. We will be tracking Logan's hair and looks throughout all these, even the ones he's not in. We will be discussing.
Yeah. What does he look like somewhere else? We'll Google what Hugh Jackman was doing in that year that he came out.
What movie came out that year that we can discuss?
Where he probably just has normal man hair, like.
Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. It's incredible to me how different. Obviously, he's an actor, but it is hilarious just how different Hugh Jackman and Wolverine are as people. Because Wolverine is like, get out of here, bub. I don't want to fucking talk to you. And Hugh Jackman's like, you know what, man? He's the friendliest, nicest, lovely bloke who just wants to sing a song and have a good time, you know?
I remember you saying it way back in our Les Mis episode, where it was just like, he's just a silly little man that wants to do his musicals, and no one will let him. He has to play Wolverine forever.
He just wants to sing his little songs, and they keep just saying, go spend 20 months working out so we can film one shirtless scene. Okay.
Oh, poor the Wolverine.
No, this is definitely the start of fucking take those steroids now, you fucking cunt. This is definitely he's so much more jacked than in the first movie. The difference is immediately almost night and day. He's like, this is a very buff man.
Well, I think we spoke about it last week, right? Because in the first one, he's kind of just like, he's a built guy. He's obviously like been hit in the waist, but he's not really, he hasn't got defined muscles. Whereas in this one, there's a couple of scenes of him in a vest, and you're like, oh, I can see those lines coming out.
Those guns, yeah.
Yeah, kapow. I like Brian Cox in this. How you feeling about Brian Cox after 4 weeks of Succession?
Brian Cox has always been like 60 plus, hasn't he? Like,
yeah.
I cannot imagine a young Brian Cox. You know, he's always been like just an old actor. I don't know what it's like. But yeah, this was probably my first exposure to Brian Cox as an actor. I remember seeing this movie in the cinemas and having a fucking great time with it as well. This was the coolest movie ever when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like Brian Cox as Stryker. I think it's out of the three Strikers we get, probably the best, I'd say. But yeah, no, I like him. I think he does a good job. He's got that very menacing tone, which works well. It's almost like he's doing a bit of a southern drawl, kind of, but not really.
There is a twang. There's definitely a twang to it, because it doesn't sound. We've listened to his normal voice for a couple of weeks now, and we're Brian Cox experts at this point. So I feel very qualified to say there's definitely some acting choices going on in Brian Cox's performance here. No, I think he's great. He's kind of like he's weaved a web of to get certain things done his way, and it's starting to unravel. And I really like that the character of Stryker is just this kind of guy who's playing in a political landscape, but at the same time he's just like levels and levels above the worst politicians in terms of just being absolutely fucking evil, downright horrible of a bloke,
just disgustingly evil of a bloke. So evil that even Magneto is like, you're a bit of a cunt, I reckon. You know?
Yeah, damn, this dude's got to go.
Yeah, that's how you know someone's evil. You know,
Magneto is the benchmark.
Yeah,
I like his I think his relationship to mutants is really nicely done in this, because that's the backbone. The first one, I really liked how kind of Eric's relationship to mutants, like you said, they want the same thing, but they're going about it in vastly different ways. And in this one, again, the villain has a relationship to mutants where it's more like Logan wants to meet his maker, and at the same time, Stryker feels this ownership over him. He views mutants as projects and experiments, and his assistant is a mutant, and that's just tragic in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was, I don't know, I just think he's a good presence in this. You need him because he's menacingly horrible.
To me, it's interesting the fact that I feel like the whole point of him is his son is a mutant, and that is just so. It's kind of like a bit of a conservative trope, isn't it? The homophobic fucking person will have the gay son or whatever, and then they'll just fucking freak out and spiral out and probably do something horrible because of that.
I think there's quite a lot. Again, last week did it as well, but I think there's quite a lot of kind of pot shots at Republicans, which are obviously very well warranted, and it says a lot that there's still these, I said this last week, ideologies that are just still coming true today. Every day in a news cycle we'll hear some horrific story and we're like, oh, an X-Men movie predicted this 20 years ago. It never changes, it just evolves.
Yeah.
And I like that there's bigger fucking idiots. It's Stryker, I think, that says it. He refers to his kid as dead rather than accepting who he is. There's a scene.
To be fair, his son is pretty much dead though. He is tortured and experimented on his son to the point where he's just not even a person anymore. He's just a vessel for whatever shit fucking Stryker needs to get done. Really,
yeah.
He is a weapon. He is just literally a weapon for him.
Yeah, because he's straight up just using him as a tool. Literally a tool. He's a device to control another person's mind. But there's other moments in this that are quite interesting. You've got the standard. You've got trigger happy police. You've got a mum figure who finds out her son is a mutant, and she goes have you tried not being a mutant? And it's God, you're getting these digs in, and I like it. It's it's effective that shit like this is still happening.
That scene of Bobby telling his parents he was a mutant, it was very much written to be a child coming out to their parents. It was very much written in that sense, so much so that Ian McKellen actually fucking advised them on how to do it properly and how to work on it and how to properly get this message across in a way that relates to that, in a sense.
Wow, so, I didn't know that. That's really good.
It's really cool. It's really interesting. Yeah, and you can see it. It is fucking beat for beat a fucking a coming out story. Really.
Yeah, you've got the stereotypical dad who's oh, I knew something, but does it have to be this kind of thing? It's the disapproving acceptance, oh, I guess I still love you kind of thing. Yeah. Which is just kind of, it's that kind of belligerent tolerance, isn't it? That it bubbles under so many people that have a hate within them, but still operate within society's rules, if that makes sense.
Side note on Bobby, what's with this weird jealousy of Wolverine sort of thing going on? What is this weird overprotectiveness? It's a little bit like Scott but dialed down. When at the beginning when Rogue gets excited to see to see Logan again. He's coming in like, hey, you're talking to my girl, are you?
Yeah.
You're talking to my 17-year-old girlfriend, 32-year-old, well, fucking probably like 150-year-old man, you know? Like, calm down, little boy, okay? I think you're safe, all right?
Yeah, it's bizarre, but I get it because they keep trying to just sell me on Hugh Jackman and Wolverine as a character just being a stud that will steal anyone's girl. But like,
He's handsome, he's hot.
he's a sexy man. I get it, but the thing that bothers me is that like he doesn't have to be a threat to everyone. Like at no point have I read the relationship in these movies between Rogue and Wolverine as anything other than like, hey, we had a similar experience one time and like we kind of are mates because of it. Like
Literally never has it been anything other than that. And the fact that there's a scene later where Mystique just decides to commit a sexual assault, and fucking during that, for some reason, she takes on the form of Rogue. She's like, hey, what do you want me to be? And then she becomes Rogue, and I'm like, no one wants this. What is this? Like, he doesn't want this. This is wrong. This has never been a thing. Stop this now. Stop it, Bryan Singer, you pedophile.
Yeah, we know your game. We know your agenda.
Yeah.
At first, I was kind of... That's something while we're talking about Wolverine. I was excited that there seemed to be less of the Scott and Wolverine bickering in this.
There's a reason for that. It's because Scott's hardly in this fucking movie, mate.
Yeah, right.
And it's because he has like 2 scenes at the beginning, and then he just gets fucking taken out of action for the rest of the movie, you know?
Yeah, if that's the saddest thing. The trade-off is like, if he's not fighting Wolverine, we've no material for this guy. And I'm like, you send him off with Charles Xavier, and you can't think of a single scene to write between these two guys beyond them getting captured. Like it's bad. What are you doing?
They get Professor X.
They do get but Scott doesn't need to be Professor X in these movies, does he? He's like just shooting a little miniature blast at people from time to time.
Well, yeah, but he gets turned into a little. He's a weapon for a moment, isn't he?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
He gets conditioned by Stryker for a moment, and then he's fine. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, that happens a fair bit. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I've now recovered. It didn't have too long of an effect on me, I suppose. What do you? I tell you what. While we're talking about Mystique being kind of horrendous and up to no good, what do you think of her in this movie and how they use Mystique?
Yeah, it's quite good. Not a huge amount to do, but I think what they do with Mystique is well for the most part. Again, I can do without the sexual assault. I don't necessarily need that, but like, in terms of all the other stuff, I like the moment where she breaks into Alkali Lake as Logan, and then Stryker just immediately recognizes that's not Logan. And then she just like fucks up that entire room. And then there's a iconic shot of her just sliding through the doors, just giving them all the middle finger as she slides through the closing doors. So cool, so good.
It is an iconic shot. I rewound the movie. I was like, did you see this? Did you see? Look, watch this. Watch what she does. It's really cool at the end. I think she's again like she's being used really well. My favorite aspect of these movies are the mutants with kind of more interesting powers that you've kind of got to be intelligent to use to the full effect. Like everyone watches these movies and it's very fun to see someone kind of brute force ice blast someone or fire blast or laser blast, right? Like they're fun to see. But I do like it when Mystique has to kind of work a scheme and she's like slips a security guard to like iron like deficiency tablets because she knows that will give Magneto an angle,
and then she'll pull down his trousers so we can all see his bum.
Yeah, we'll see his big briefs.
We'll see his big see-through briefs. Everyone getting a look at his big see-through briefs while she injects him with an insane amount of fucking iron. Like that is ridiculous. And that's all going in the same place. That is clogging his fucking... I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but that cannot be good. That cannot be fucking working out well for the guy. And I know he gets killed by Magneto, but like still, I feel like that alone would kill him.
It probably would have done. And he shows up to work the next day, man. The dude's committed to like hating Magneto and loving being his prison guard or something.
I feel like that's not really a job you can call in sick to, though. If you work at Magneto's plastic prison, you can't be like, yeah, I'm not feeling well today, boys. I think I'll just have a day off. And they're like, yeah, mate, no worries.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that kind of vibe, really.
They call in the spare, like the replacement guy, and they're like, they sit him down like, there are such a specific set of rules you need to follow here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
First off, take off that belt immediately.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I've always thought Mystique is cool, man. I like the way that she disguises herself as Stryker and like runs into a panicked like kind of guard room at Alkali Lake and says like, it could be anyone, and then immediately just twats the cunt with a gun. And like I'm like, it was anyone, it was you. Like, I don't know. I just think it's good. Again, I was kind of saying about it with the Nightcrawler stuff. Like it's good to watch mutants that have cool powers use them really effectively because they have grown up with them. They know how to like it's like second nature to them to do this kind of stuff. So it's fun to see.
There are some cool powers on display. I think my favorite is Remote Control Boy. That is a boy who has all the powers of a remote control. Right? What's your mutant ability? I can Sky Plus that TV show for you.
I was gonna save this till later. I had a note about him that says, "What does he do now that TV is more complex than like 3 cable channels?" Like,
I don't know. Can he record? Can he rewind? What are the extent of his remote control based abilities? Okay.
I think probably the most like the best thing you probably do is whip out like a volume up or down kind of thing. But
Maybe.
like it's like each blink that he has is equivalent to a button press. So if he wants to turn it up 20, he's got to blink 20 times in quick succession.
Maybe. There was also Little Lizard Tongue Boy.
Yeah, seemingly no other talents.
Yeah, just a little lizard tongue. He gets a little bit of play. There was who else was there? There was Alarm Scream Girl.
Yeah, I think you could. That's useful. You could use that.
I mean, we'll see in First Class. There's Banshee, so it's essentially the same thing, really.
Yeah,
kind
is
of.
It DC's Black Canary? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but yes, in a sense, yes.
Big screams.
Big screams, sure. Big screams can come in handy. We have our second actress playing Kitty Pryde. So
yes,
well done. Well done. She falls through a bed, and then later she steals some files from Stryker, I guess. So well done.
I was a little bit disappointed. I know why. Like, it's not the boys. I get it. But like, there's a Kitty Pryde falls out of the bed and then like immediately runs through not a security guy. Runs through like one of the kind of militia people.
Was you expecting it to come out soaked in blood and guts or something?
I was expecting her to A-train that bitch.
No, come on, man. He's not the boys. Yeah, you're right. You've been desensitized. Okay.
I guess. I just was expecting something a bit cooler, a bit gnarly, or like at least give me a scene of the soldier being like, "Oh, what the fuck," or something.
Shut up, man. That is. I tell you what. That is the coolest fucking scene ever, man. The raid on the mansion. When I was a kid, that was fucking religion to me. That scene.
Okay.
Everything about it, I loved it so much. From the moment where where Logan gets the guy in the kitchen and just fucking stabs his claws into him, and you can see the claw marks on the fridge after the guy falls down. So fucking cool. And the way he's just like, "You want to shoot me? Shoot me!" As he's walking towards that. As a kid, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, and I will never get tired of any of this. Even the way he does his weird flips on the stairs and his weird little almost dance-like way of throwing the guards backwards and shit. It's also cool. I love it.
It is, and this is why this is like the scene I point to if ever someone's like, remember before Logan came out and like we hadn't really ever seen a live action Wolverine tear someone apart. Like in terms of like you see an arm fall off or you see blood on the claws kind of thing. Like everyone's complaint was pre-Logan was that like it was pretty sanitized, and I'm like, yeah, but it looks like he sells it. Like he's good at screaming. You will see those little ADR videos of him just absolutely fucking screeching his head off in a booth.
Videos. Those are great. Yeah,
they are great. They're really fun to watch. They must be really good for the soul. Like I would love someone to pay me like several million to stand in a booth and just scream.
Yeah.
That would be very, very soul cleansing for me. But yeah, I think he sells it really well. I put a side point that was like, and you're gonna roll your eyes, right?
Oh, there
but
we go.
and we won't need to stay on this for long. But do you remember when every scene in movies looked good? Like, no, but like you watch this scene, right? And I know you feel the same specifically about one thing, right? Scenes set in nighttime, they just don't look like this anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, like so the helicopter's like surrounding like it's flying down. The kind of tag lights on the helicopter are like shining through all the lights in the mansion, and like it's dark. You can tell it's nighttime, but everyone is really well lit. They've got like when Stryker's menacing and he like kind of emerges, his face is shrouded in darkness. Like he walks into the mansion and like this, it's almost like the helicopter spotlight kind of just like follows him. Like it all feels very like stylized and cool, and it's supposed to be in like the middle of the night, but everything is clear as day. And I was reminded of like a couple of House of the Dragon episodes, a couple of Game of Thrones and stuff, and I'm like, God, I loved it when I could see stuff that was happening in nighttime scenes. Like this feels like a distant memory.
I don't think it's fair to say nothing looks like that these days.
All right, yeah, that is fair, yeah.
Yeah, I do think there is still stuff that is done and shot well, but yeah, this looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I think it like the movie does look good, but this is the noticeable scene where they were like, let's get the money's worth in this scene, because this is gonna be. But I mean, it's like a militia invading the X Mansion. Like it's great, and the X-Men aren't there, so you're left with the B team.
We got Colossus.
Yeah, what's Colossus doing, right? It's because he's not an X-Men, he's not a teacher, and he's not a student. So what's his job here?
But he is a student. That's the thing, though. He is a student. He's in the class at the end, and this is why I couldn't work out. Because at the end of the movie, there's that class who comes in to see Professor X, and they're like, Professor X, let's learn about fucking King Arthur or whatever. And then, like, one of them is the little remote control boy, and one of them is Colossus, who are somehow in the same class, despite one of them looking 12 and one of them looking 33 years old. Okay.
They haven't tried to do anything where they put him in like little boy clothes to smile about. Like he's fucking running around the X Mansion shirtless, and he's built like a brick shit house.
He's fucking built bigger than Wolverine.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's Colossus. He's supposed to be big. He's supposed to be a big beefy guy.
I suppose so.
But like, I don't know. I'll buy him as like an 18-year-old, I guess. You know, like a.
That's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, it's his last year. He's in his senior year. Maybe he was held back a few years or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they flunked him 4 years in a row.
Yeah, he keeps failing mutant school or whatever. I don't know. He keeps failing mutant math. But I like it though. I like the moment where like he's like to Wolverine, I can help you, and Logan just says, help them, not me. You know, it's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He's good.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lot to do. He doesn't have a lot to do. He's not in this movie much at all. I think he's in the next one quite a bit more. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot to do. But what he does do is good. But it's it's out of the two Colossi,
yeah.
Out of the two Colossi we get in this this universe, however many fucking universes it is, second best, I'd say.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
it's more of a character, obviously. Yeah.
He's the mum for everyone. He's everyone's mum.
Everyone loves him. I think he's specifically Deadpool's mum. That's about it.
No, he's Negasonic's mum as well. He's giving her a little protein bar.
I suppose. All right. I do like. We'll get to Deadpool. Okay, we'll get to Deadpool.
Yeah, we'll get to Deadpool. Yeah.
I do like, and we again, obviously, big theme of the X-Men is the politics behind it. I cleverly noticed that president assassination Easter egg, like we spoke about. I do like that the Doomsday device in this is essentially evil Cerebro.
It's literally called Dark Cerebro.
Is it really? Do they call it that?
Well, I don't know if they call it that in the movie, but that's like what it's called, like in the script and shit. Yeah.
Oh no, it's Cerebro, but the dark version.
It's Cerebro, but it's just grotty. I like it. It's just dirty Cerebro. You know?
I do like that design. They've taken like bits of shiny Cerebro and then they've like kind of ragtag fucking scrap metaled the other parts of it. And like they've put the panels, like enough panels for it to just about work. But then like if they can skip one, they have. It's a good design. But I like the way that it's rooted in this like to control it, right? It was a machine made by mutants that needs to be controlled by a mutant. Right, and Stryker's there the entire time, puppeteering mutants, using them as tools and using them to his advantage, whilst simultaneously being completely blind to the practicality and the usefulness of human evolution like this. Like, he's like, well, I'll tell you what, we'll use this amazing technology that these mutants made that we could never have even think about making, right? So much so that we have to steal it so that it can work. And we'll use it to eradicate all the people that made this cool stuff. And I'm like...
Well, I do think a big part of it is you need to be an incredibly powerful psychic to use it. I do think Stryker does have that going against him, first of all. But also, I feel like he doesn't care about its use of it, though. He doesn't care about the intended use of Cerebro to help find and protect mutants. He's like, weapon. I can just use that to kill them, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the intricacies of it and what it can actually do. He just sees it as one thing and one thing only.
I agree. I think that is an interesting element of it because, like, again, like it's for me, it like I don't know if this stuck out to anyone else watching. I've never considered this before, and I may be reaching. I think I probably would be, but like it reminded me of how like everyday things can be used as tools in like a kind of political, especially like a Republican landscape. Like even as far as like standard things that should be just normal things that people can have, like health apps. The government get that data sold to them and can use it against people. Like job applications, you have to sign in your like sexual orientation, like how you identify and like your faith. And it's like, I don't know, for me, it's like, it was kind of very metaphorical for that way of like, we find out as much as we can about you and we weaponize it against you. Like it's a tool to cause and sow more hatred rather than bring people together. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think that's definitely reaching for 2003, mate.
Well, no, but like I only think it like I say, this is why it probably is a reach, but I only think it because there's other stuff in this that is so apparent and is still happening today. Like a lot of the republicanisms of it all. Like I get that technology wasn't in the same place.
that's evergreen though.
Yeah, I guess.
It's always going to be there, mate. Okay.
Damn. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Fine. I won't talk then.
Good. Stop it. Logan steals Scott's car. He's got another sporty vehicle for him to steal.
Yeah.
I love that the smash hit "Bye Bye Bye" from Deadpool and Wolverine appears. That's great.
It's good of them to include it here.
Yeah, it's good
retroactively.
This was them for what's that word I'm looking for? Foreshadowing its appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine. What the fuck is that phone, man? What is that? That is the most ridiculous 2002 shit I have ever seen. Just a weird fucking Metal X with no screen, and it's a weird little flip phone. And it's like, it would not have surprised me if they had like a little Motorola logo on it. I'm like, wow, you can text 3 people on this? Whoa. The future.
I forget that these are supposed to be set in the distant future from when they came out.
The not too distant future.
The not too distant. Oh, yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
But
I forget that is the case. And then sometimes they just do whip out this fucking absurd thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's so stupid.
It's always, you love this.
I don't think it ever fucking works at any point as well.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no! They do manage to get fucking Jean and Storm to bring the jet to them, but like other than that,
that's the only time.
Yeah,
that's the only time that thing has ever worked.
Yeah. Anyway, Logan almost kills that cat.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Was it Ginger? Was it Ginger Cat?
No, it was Grey. It was Grey.
Oh, okay. Grey cats are the best cats.
They put frozen tea on his claws so the cat would lick them.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Bit of practical fun filmmaking. That's fun. I liked. There was a moment at the end that made me fucking giggle, which was like, again, we spoke about how last week how Wolverine is just kind of creepily making advances on Jean, and like they're kind of lowering Jean's character to make her kind of interested in it, which is not very Jean in terms of like a classic adaptation of it. And Jean in this movie obviously sacrifices herself. You know, she does the whole like, I'll stay behind so that the team can escape kind of thing. And then at the end, Wolverine goes up to Cyclops and he says something to the effect of like, hey, I know your wife just died, but like we had a thing going on that was entirely in my mind, and she told me a million times that she wasn't interested, but you can rest easy because she chose you in the end, mate. This is a cool thing. This is a good thing that I'm up to here. Like,
that was a hilarious moment because she's like, hey, she chose you. And like, to Scott, that was never fucking in question. Like,
yeah.
that was never, there was never any moment of doubt in his mind. Like, it was never a question. It was never conceived of. Of course, she was his girlfriend. Of course, what the fuck are you talking about?
They're married. They're married in this.
They're not married.
They are. She says, "I married the good one."
Did she?
Like, she says to Logan or something like, "Girls flirt with bad boys. Like, I married the good boy or something."
Did she say married? Okay, fair enough then.
I think she did. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I think you might be wrong. I don't see that ring on that finger.
She takes it off when she talks to Logan, which is the only time she's allowed screen time in these movies.
I was convinced that, like, at first the scene where Jean actually kisses Logan, I was convinced that one of them was Mystique because I remembered that happening at some point, and I was like, oh, it'll be Jean because that makes sense. And then I'm like, oh no, Jean's just a terrible person. Okay, great. Jean just fully cheated on Scott.
This is my grief, right? Because it's like, and this is where, like, look, I know this is part and parcel with them just trying to make Wolverine the front runner of the entire franchise. I get it, but like, stop butchering other characters to make him cool. Like, this is a good movie, and imagine how much better and cooler it would be if, like, Cyclops and Jean Grey were out doing cool stuff in the movie as well, rather than just being like, oh, I've been captured. Oh, I don't know if I love Logan or not.
They keep trying to force the Logan and Jean thing down our throats, and I cannot stress how much I am just not buying it, because my God, when she sacrifices herself at the end and she dies, spoiler alert, and then they have the scene of like fucking Logan and Scott like both crying with each other, and just the way Logan is crying, I'm like, you've known her a week, my guy. You've had like 3 scenes with her, okay? Just the way that you have lost the absolute love of your life, who you've known for years. Like, Scott's reaction is earned. Scott's reaction, fair play, okay? He was married to her, apparently. I didn't know that, but apparently he was married to her. Like, but Logan just breaking down and barely holding back the tears. It's fucking, it's ridiculous. It's not earned. It doesn't feel earned at all. It just feels, to me anyway, it just feels really, really shoehorned in and forced.
Yeah, I think so too. I liked how they did it in X-Men 97, where it's kind of like Wolverine is this weird guy on the outside just pining, and it's like it's the worst kept secret in the mansion and amongst the team, and just like Jean has a baby, and he's like, oh, I guess this really is serious with you and Scott then. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, what the fuck, leave her alone.
Like, Jean and Logan, it has been a thing in the comics, but the thing is, though, she always ends up with Scott. Scott is her true love. There has been moments, but like, the trouble is, though, they don't have the same. The movies don't have the fucking length and the history that the comics have. So they're trying to take those moments that Logan and Jean do have and force it into a series where they've known each other for a week, you know, and give us all of that as well. And it just does not work at all. It just does not work in this context. Yeah. Especially with the way that Logan is supposedly like truly in love with her. And Jean is also kind of fucking madly in love with him as well, I guess. But I don't know.
If it was more compelling, if the stories and the characters were a bit more interesting.
Do they even have chemistry?
Yeah, they don't. This is my thing. I could meet them halfway if they were like really like vibing with each other.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing for me to latch onto, so I can't.
Isn't it wild that out of all the people, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine has his potential on-screen partners? Isn't it wild? Out of all of them, the person who's had the most chemistry with on screen is fucking Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. No, I don't know if this is really expanded on in Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm sure
not,
it is.
It's not really. It's not. But like they have more chemistry in that movie than he has with Jean or whatever the fuck was going on in X-Men Origins. We'll get there. But fucking hell.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But
do we have to? Do we have to get to that one?
Yes, we do have to get to that one, Lawrence. We do.
Fine.
What else happens in this movie? I'll tell you what happens. Hank McCoy appears on TV at one point.
Yeah, I saw this.
It's just not Kelsey Grammer though, is it? It's just some young guy with like a mop haircut.
Yeah, it's like pretty skinny, like traditionally not what Beast looks like.
Yeah, he's just some little guy. Anyway, that's Hank McCoy, I guess.
It was a weird cameo as well because I know he was presenting like a TV segment or something, but like he was staring at the camera and smiling, and it felt very much like it's Hank McCoy, and I was like, it's fucking well not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's definitely not.
The name Remy LeBeau appears on screen.
It does. I saw Remy LeBeau. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Ooh, I'm about to make a name.
I'm about to make a name for myself.
Spoilers.
I can't subscribe to this. I'm a My Name is Jeff purist. All right, okay. That's the only funny, silly accent I need.
That is so much better than My Name is Jeff.
I don't know about. Let's see if it holds the same cultural weight. All right.
I think it will. I think it'll hold more.
10 years later, I'm still going about saying my name Jeff, and it's still funny. As funny as it was 10 years ago.
Never was funny, but okay. Never was funny.
Do you want to do X Strip? Have you got much more to say on the movie?
Lady Deathstrike.
Yes, cool.
Lady Deathstrike, pretty cool. I do like the moment where she reveals her claws and Logan just goes, "Holy shit! What the fuck, man?
Hey, yours are cooler than mine."
I don't know if they are. I feel like on each finger it gets a bit like.
How can you control it?
Yeah, exactly. It feels like overkill. Really, doesn't feel like. I feel like just the classic 3 claws, you have more control over that. It just feels cleaner for some reason.
Have you ever seen it when like people get long nail extensions and it just looks uncomfortable? You're like, how do you fucking hold shit without that like being really annoying?
How do you type on a keyboard with that?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are they doing out here with that?
Probably not using keyboards, to be honest.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
But yeah, no, I like Lady Deathstrike's inclusion in this. I think her fight with Logan is great, actually. Like you were saying earlier about like, yeah, you know, it's not an R-rated movie, but they really do push the boundaries of that stuff, especially in that fight. You could like the way she would like when Logan was on that fucking like metal bed thing and she was just stabbing the fuck out of him from down below, and you could just see his blood dropping into the tank and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks really, really intense and stuff.
It did look good. I like that, like, it's a kind of a match for Wolverine a little. Like, if he didn't have the little plot device that was set up by Stryker about 8 times prior about adamantium needing to be liquid or something, or like what was it about?
What was set up once? It was set up once.
I felt more. I felt like they brought it up more than once.
They literally mentioned it once. This is classic you exaggerating again.
I feel like maybe I just thought about it and I was like, that was obviously a setup, and then maybe I exaggerated in my mind.
Liquid adamantium looks so fucking tasty. I want to drink it. I've felt that way since I was a kid. Ever since I saw that, just that little silver potion just bubbling away, I'm like, I want to drink that so bad. Let me taste the forbidden drink, okay? I fucking want that.
What do you think it would taste like?
I don't know.
Why do you want this?
Not good, probably, but I just want to drink it. It looks good.
Okay, fair enough. I'll get you some. I'll find a way.
It looks great. It looks great when like he did inject her with the adamantium and it like poured out of her eyes and everything. Looks very cool.
It was fucking rough. I like the way that when she like falls back as well, her head obviously carries the back of her head's carrying loads of weight because her brain's just been mushed like her skull. So it just kind of clangs.
Did you like the X-Men Origins Wolverine stuff? The flashbacks and his little bum as he ran away.
I did. Yeah, I did. I was a bit soured on it because I've recently had to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine for work.
Good movie.
X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah, one of the best, I reckon.
Oh, okay, I see what you're up to here. My man's out here being facetious. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just that like I wish it was never expanded on in the detail that we end up getting. I'm like, this is the perfect cocktail of oh, I kind of get this guy's vibe, but he's the right amount of mysterious to be a cool leading man.
Yeah.
And then in another movie they're like, here's how everything happened, and it's really lame as well. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Here's how it all happened, and it's really boring, and don't worry about it.
Largely doesn't make much sense as well.
Doesn't make any sense, and also contradicts quite a lot of stuff you've already seen. So, but like, so does every other movie, to be fair. But who cares? Yeah. Anyway, what else happens?
Charles gets a hit with another ableist comment.
Remind me.
So last week we got Wolverine calling him Wheels, and this week Stryker kidnaps him and then goes, "Oh no, don't get up, please."
Oh, that's a bit of fun.
No, it's all a bit of fun. I'm just saying we're 2 for 2 on ableist comments of Charles now.
Well done, Charles. Let's see if we can go free for free.
14 for 14.
Magneto escaping out of prison is great.
Oh yeah,
just the fucking, first of all, ripping the iron out of that guy's blood, and then just turning it into those little ball bearings, and then just fucking just tearing it to pieces. So clever. Yeah, it just works so well. It's really good.
This is one of them things I'm talking about. Like when you have to be like, if I could control metal, I would not think of any of this shit. I'm too dumb to have that power.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, and him standing on the little metal disc and holding his arms like this as he just flows. Like that should look so fucking stupid, but it works though. Ian McKellen just sells it. It looks great.
He is one of them people that can just sell it. Like he's good. I even thought Charles Patrick Stewart wasn't bad last week, but out of the casting of Eric and the casting of Charles, Eric, like Ian McKellen as Eric Linter is obviously a better casting, I think. Like. But I thought Charles Xavier brought it here as a little bit of an egotistical guy, like a bit of the X-Men can do no wrong. Like he obviously kind of harbored some guilty feelings about how he kind of self-perceived as failed Jason and what that kid's life ended up turning into. Like I thought that was quite a good portrayal, because I don't know much about Charles Xavier in the comics, but I know that he's way more of a prick than the movies make him out to be.
I think he's a bit of a prick in the movies as well, though.
Well, yeah, but like apparently, like comic him is quite dickish in a way.
It can be. It depends on like the run of the story, really.
Yes, as we know, these movies have infected the comics for 20 years. So who's to say now?
It can be both like the best man ever and the worst man ever. It's all a bit here and there and everywhere, really.
Okay, but yeah, no, I thought he was bringing his A game in this. He's not in it for much, but I liked that he's kind of hallucinating and led down a path and like, oh, I can save every child if I believe, and he's actually having his strings pulled like a puppet.
My favorite Charles Xavier moment is that gif where it says Wolverine bringing me a cheese pizza.
You love that gif.
I love it so much. It's so good. It's just him using his powers singing Wolverine, and there's the little circles going, but it just says Wolverine bring me a cheese pizza. And I don't know why, I just find it so funny.
It's the circles that make it funny for me. Like, he's sending this out there. He wants a cheese pizza.
Wolverine, bring me a cheese pizza.
Also, what's it? Like, every pizza's a cheese pizza.
No, in America, a cheese pizza is like a margarita. To us, that's just a margarita. But yeah, they call that a cheese pizza.
I see. I love to the Italians as well, where we stole it from.
No, I think there's more to it than that, but sure.
Should we do X Strip? There's not much to discuss in X Strip. Really.
First of all, just quickly, Jean dies and becomes the Phoenix. And she's
for like a half second, yeah.
Well, she becomes the Phoenix for like a second, and then like the movie ends with like there's a shot of the lake, and you see the Phoenix flying under the lake and stuff. But whatever. I feel like it's I was reading a note and it said Bryan Singer had the idea of Jean's death midway through production on this movie, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that checks.
Yeah, I can kind of tell, because it did feel a bit tacked on, really, with no kind of build up to it. But sure,
it was very much like. I mean, like, look, props for, like, how death is kind of in real life. Very inopportune, and sometimes you don't get those moments to say goodbye and stuff. But it was very much like, we don't have to change much here, do we? She just runs out of the plane, never to be seen again.
I did like her talking through Charles. That was pretty cool.
That was good.
I liked that. And I love Alan Cumming as Kurt Wagner. I love it anytime he introduces himself. He goes, "My name is Kurt Wagner, but in the Munich circus, I was known as the and everyone's like, "Shut up,
Yeah.
stop it, shut up."
My favorite instance of that is like a bit later on. It happens, and like it's clear they're under time pressure, right? Big time time pressure. And he goes, "But in the Munich circus, they call me." And Halle Berry just turns around and goes, "He's a teleporter," and he goes, "Oh, sick. That's how we'll use him then."
He's good. I like Alan Cumming. He's great. Here's another cool little moment I like. When Nightcrawler talks to Mystique and he asks her like if she can look like anyone, why doesn't she like hide and look like a normal person? And she just says because we shouldn't have to, which I think is great and sums up that whole thing quite nicely. I don't think these movies ever touch on their relationship, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's supposed to be her son, right?
Yeah. She's her mother. Azazel is his father. Yeah.
That's right, which explains why he looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the powers.
Yeah, I like it. I like this is kind of why I'm enjoying Mystique. Her presence is very felt without a lot, because famously half of her role is her. Well, not fucking being played by her, because she's shapeshifted into someone else. But
that's something I was thinking about during this movie. It was when Brian Cox was Mystique, and I was thinking about like the casting process and the contracts for this movie. And like, do you reckon it has to be written into the contracts that they also have to play Mystique? Because you can get cast in this movie thinking, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be Wolverine, I'm gonna be whoever. but then there's also, you're forgetting about that like 2-minute scene or whatever where you have to be sexy and give everyone a kiss while you're jumping about fighting and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I tell you, I believed them all except Brian Cox. It felt weird seeing him pull, because he like pulled a bit of a pouty face.
He pulled a little smile.
Yeah, and it was a little bit like
wave.
Ugh.
No, I liked it. It worked for me.
Okay, yeah, it's probably in the script, isn't it? But then I'm operating under the assumption that these movies had a locked script, which clearly isn't true in most cases.
Yeah, that's not the case. Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. I feel like everyone would be game for it. It's a fun day on set where you get to goof about a bit, isn't it?
I also feel like no movie in history has ever had a locked script. I feel like for a movie to start production with one version of a script and end the entire production with that script intact, so fucking rare. That is like, that would almost never happen.
Yeah,
because even just naturally, because you'll be working on stuff and you'll shoot stuff and you'll be like, oh no, that doesn't quite work. Let's rework that and stuff. It's very, very rare to end with a fucking. I'd almost say it's never happened. I'd be quite confident saying it's never happened. Probably.
Well, that was part of the strike, wasn't it? Because writers weren't being compensated for like being on. Well, writers weren't being employed to be on sets. Meaning that, like, yeah, so that was like something that was in like a lot of streaming networks where writers weren't being paid to be on sets, so that like when a rewrite needed to happen, obviously the director or the producer or whoever would run off to see the writers on set. They'd be like, if the writers' room was like 6 people, they may have 2 of them there on set for them to just go, can you come up with a line that's better than whatever this fucking person can think of?
Yeah.
And that was one of the things they didn't have protections for, and I think it's now locked in place that a certain percentage of the writers' team needs to be present on set days, which is cool. So good on them. Good on them for striking.
Good on them. Good on me.
Good on Nathan. Good on William Stryker, is what I say. I don't know. That's me on X-Men 2. No, X2.
Sorry, it's not me. It's not me. Sorry. I got more. Every time you like try to wrap this up, I'm like, oh, and here's another thing I like. Pyro. I like Pyro.
He's cool. I like him. I think I'm more excited for him next week, because this is his origin, isn't it? More.
Yeah, this is X-Men Origins Pyro. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Pyro. Yeah. Probably was on the pile at one point to be made.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I like it. I like the scene where he like obviously torches all those police cars and stuff. It's very cool. It's very cool. I feel like he should be Australian though, don't you?
Is he meant to be?
Yeah. Pyro's Australian. Yeah.
Is that like character crucial stuff? What is that like?
Not really, but he's just an Australian guy. Like he's a bit of like fucking like Captain Boomerang-esque in that sense, just a bit like a bogan, you know, just a bit like a fucking Aussie kind of, like a rough Aussie stereotype kind of, you know.
It would be cool to have some differences, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like everyone's just very clear-cut American most of the
Yeah.
time in these.
Yeah, even like the name Pyro, I feel like that's very Australian, you know. Oh, he's a
Yeah.
bloody pyro.
He's a bloody.
know?
Oh, I'm
He's
gonna
a bloody
bloody set this
pyro.
on fire, mate.
Oh, fucking hell, there's bloody pyro over here, you know.
Oh, I'm clicking my lighter, mate. This is bloody pissing me off.
Oh, bloody. Also, the one thing that's always seemed so fucking dumb to me is, you know, the scene at the museum at the beginning where there's those bullies and they're like, hey, give me your lighter so I can smoke this fine cigarette. Okay?
Yeah.
it's when he gets the lighter and then his brother or whatever just stands in front of him with his arms, like, with his arms folded like, you can't get to him. He's smoking a cigarette and I'm stood in front of him. We got you now, little boy.
I'm his bodyguard. While
I'm
he's
his
smoking,
bodyguard
actually.
while he smokes a delicious cigarette.
You can ask that for the duration of his whole cigarette, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It seemed so weird. Oh, here's another thing as well. I like it when Logan has a nice Dr. Pepper. Did you like it when he has a nice Dr. Pepper?
I did, and I like that they chilled it. They were like, "We'll get this nice shot." Of
Well,
ice
here's
chilled.
the thing. Here's the thing. He's looking for something to drink, and Bobby's like, "Oh, there's some sodas in the cupboard." And I'm like, "Why the fuck would anyone keep a soda in the cupboard?" And then a moment later, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's
understand,
why.
yeah.
That's why." It was purely so Bobby could just give it a little breath.
I do. There are quite a few like little visual gags with stuff like this. There's a moment where Rogue and Iceman have they risk a quick kiss, and
Yeah.
then after the kiss, he kind of pulls away because he's like, "Oh shit, I'm dying. Hang on."
Yeah.
And then
He
Rogue,
gets mad at her. for
yeah,
that.
and I'm like, "You were doing this. This is you."
You were well up for it, mate. You were the one who instigated this.
But I do like that Rogue, after kissing him, kind of blows out kind of cold air, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. It was
like
pretty
I
cool.
respect the visual gag, but this man isn't cold 24/7, right? This is not how it works.
I think that's what they're saying. That's her power. She'll take his power. That's what she does.
Oh fuck, that is right. Yeah, that makes
You're an
way more
idiot.
sense.
What do you want about?
I thought she was like, just kissed a cool guy.
She takes their power. That's what she does. Do you know? Remember that scene where she literally grabbed Pyro's leg so she could put out the fire?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh my. Okay, all right, fine.
Do you feel like an idiot now?
I do. But I'll keep
Because
it in.
you,
It's fine.
because you should. Okay. What else do I like? Logan cracks open a beer at like 8 a.m. At fucking Bobby's hat. Like, he got a problem, my guy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what
he
is
does.
that?
He has a great many.
He
dealing
does.
Problems.
He has many issues, but like, fucking hell.
My
Anyway,
guy,
good on him.
relax, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad timing for all the parents to walk in. It's like, this is my professor. He's raiding the fucking fridge for beers at 8 a.m.
He also teaches art. It's very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. He gets shot in the head. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I do like how quickly that escalates. It's very true to American culture. We don't want to hurt any of you. I've shot one of you in the head, but we're not going to hurt any more of you.
That whole thing felt very contrived though, because the way like Logan like he pulled out his claws before he went out there. And then
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, put the knives down." And like, I can't. Like, you can. You
can actively put
You
them
can
away,
very easily just withdraw the claws. You know, like.
I had to say that you could have done it before you went out, in fact.
Yeah, I feel like you didn't even need to have them out when you went out. But
What was the plan? Massacring a bunch of police officers, like fulfilling Charles's vision for the future.
who all have guns trained on you and are quite a distance away from you as well. I mean, you'll
Yeah.
have to run towards them or something.
And look,
okay?
you may be bulletproof, but there's like 4 kids here that aren't.
But also, this was in a day where like his healing regeneration wasn't instant, you know, and if you get shot in the head and it didn't mean anything, like he
Yeah.
was out of the count for like a good 5 minutes or whatever once he got shot in the head.
And
I feel like
that-
these days he can get shot in the head and he'll just like, it's fine, mate, don't worry about it, you know.
Well, yeah, there's literal movies where he does get shot and then he goes, that mildly
Yeah.
irritated me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so I've got a light headache now, and I'm like, oh come on, like,
Yeah,
it's cooler when he's a bit less infallible, I think.
whole movie where that happens. We'll get there.
Oh yes, oh I do like that movie.
When you call my name, it's like a little
Right, can we do X Strip now?
down on my knees. Wait, is there anything else?
I don't know, is there? My notes ran out 5 minutes ago. I'm coasting by
I
on
keep
you.
thinking of stuff. I like this movie, man. It's good. No, I think I'm done. I think that's it. Yeah.
We kind of already did a little bit of X Strip on Wolverine, but I will say that there's a scene where Cyclops, not in his regular X-Men costume, but there's a scene where he's wearing a slightly like long-ish black coat, and they've also made his visor smaller, and it's very Matrix, like you said last week.
Yeah, it's so Matrix. Yeah, he's wearing his regular X-Men costume, but then he's got like a black trench coat on over it.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's dumb. And also that scene where he's like crying when Jean died, and he's just wearing that stupid fucking visor. Like, he just looks so dumb. Like, just take it off, or like fucking put him in glasses or something. I don't know, but he looks so stupid in the visor. It's so thin as well, that visor.
That's my issue with it. It's a half commitment, isn't it? Like, and they keep making little digs. I saw you with that dorky helmet, Magneto. I'm like, it's a fucking cool helmet, I'll have you know. And
that was pretty dorky.
No, but they'd all do well to have their own cool helmets, I think. Like, I think it's a weird kind of like, everyone's got a mutant name, but only some of them are cool enough to use. Like, it feels like there's the amount of people that walk around like, oh, let's call Rogue only Rogue, but Wolverine is Logan because it sounds dumb if they call him the Wolverine every 5 seconds. Like, I don't know. And Magneto sounds more menacing than Eric. Like, it's a weird half measure, I think, with a lot of the commitment to the X-Men stuff.
I reckon they should go back to calling him Magnus.
Magnus, please.
Magnus, stop this, Magnus.
I didn't know that was a thing until I watched X-Men '97. I was like, is this? I can't be wrong here, surely. And then I was like, oh, I'm extremely wrong.
Yeah, Magnus.
Magnus. Yeah, that's me. X Strip hasn't really expanded much beyond last week.
Jean at one point also has a big black trench coat on, which I don't know if you noticed, but it has a symbol of a phoenix on the back.
Oh, did it? I must have missed that, but that is cool. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's what they call foreshadowing. I like Nightcrawler's look.
Yeah, it's good makeup look. Very good makeup.
Good makeup, yeah. Really, really cool stuff.
I like that they've made handsome man Alan Cumming kind of look a bit like, I don't know, a bit gross. A little bit kind of...
Well, he is a blue mutant and covered in like tattoos and scars and stuff.
No, but they've made him look a little bit like grew up on the streets kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a good look for him. I think they point his teeth a little bit as well, don't they?
Yeah, but that's Nightcrawler. He's always got like...
yeah, but not Alan Cumming. I'm saying I like the look, the transformation that he's undergone is good. Unless Alan Cumming did shave his teeth down for the role.
I mean, maybe he did. I won't put it past Alan Cumming.
I think that is it. Like I said, there really isn't much expansion on the drip of last week.
No.
If anything, there's less. Rogue gets to not wear costumes this time.
Well, she does get a costume at the end.
Right at the end,
scene,
yeah.
Yeah, the scene in the president's office. Bobby and her have a little leather number on now.
I think they've only done that to like with the X-Men.
Yeah.
In the office. Yeah. As soon as they get back, they're like, right, off with those costumes. Or it's the one-time gig. Go back to bed.
Yeah. Back to Clark. You got mutant Marv tomorrow. Okay.
And it's tough because, as you know, fucking Colossus has failed 4 years in a row.
Yeah, he can't figure it out. It's because his big metal hands are too big for the calculator.
He can't pick up the pen.
He's like, ah. He's just there struggling. And you imagine him just trying to fit in one of those tiny chairs. You know those chairs, those little chairs with a little desk thing that wraps around the arm. He's there like trying to squeeze it. He can't do it. Trying to do his maths.
Poor Colossus.
Good on him.
All right, it is the part of the show where we recommend some stuff to each other and to our lovely listeners. It could be anything we've watched, read, seen, listened to, or experienced in the past week. Nathan, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I would like you to go first.
Okay, it's a Netflix movie. It's called Hitman.
I've seen this, and by seeing this, I mean I listened to a podcast about it.
It's a good movie, man. I like Glenn Powell. He's He's the up-and-coming movie star of the moment. Everyone's talking about Glenn Powell. He was in Anyone But You, which is quite good. I enjoyed that.
I don't feel like I know who Glenn Powell is, but also I don't care.
Okay. Well, then if you don't care, well, then I won't bother. No, it's a good movie. He's a psychology professor who helps out the police by posing as a hitman and entrapping criminals that want to hire a hitman. And it's a fun kind of excuse for him as an actor to show off his range, because he gets to play he like tailors the hitman experience to the client. So there's like he kind of plays like a real Southern American. He plays like a Tilda Swinton type, like kind of psycho type character. He does a full on Patrick Bateman American Psycho impression at one point, and it's genuinely really funny and really good. And it's good performances all around. I didn't know the actor's name, but Adria Arjona is there, and she's the woman from Andor that's really, really good.
That one woman from Andor.
No, but like the leading lady of Andor, the one that kind of gets tortured. I can't remember her name. They all have names that I can't remember.
Oh, Andor's GF.
Yes, Andor's GF, who has another BF who gets shot. Nathan, what are you recommending this week?
I am recommending that everyone watch X2, X-Men United.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But everyone should, because it's a good movie.
That is the ultimate loophole. We could. That is in the rules.
I still feel like it's a cheat whenever you just recommend whatever you did for Caravan of Garbage. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I don't do it often, but it also is something I've thought about a lot that week.
But I still feel like it's a cheat. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
All right, write my one off last week, but Hitman is fair. That's fair game.
Well, I recommend Hitman the video game.
I know.
No, I am going to recommend a podcast. It's a beautiful podcast. I know you've listened to it. It's called the Talking Pictures Podcast, hosted by our good friend Brian, along with David. Hosted by our good friend David, along with Brian. I got that the other way around.
Yep.
Two beautiful Irish boys talking about like film and pop culture and that kind of stuff. Definitely more succinct than whatever the fuck is going on here.
And way more like hot on the money as well. Like
way
they're seeing
more
movies
hot on
that
the
came
money.
out like last week. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You had some good retrospectives recently, though I may not agree with some of their opinions. Some of the DC retrospectives were pretty hard to listen to me. No, but they were still good and fun and enjoyable. But specifically, at the time of recording anyway, their most recent episode, where Brian got to sit down and have a chat with the director of the animated movie Help I'm a Fish. I'm not sure if you remember this movie.
No.
No, big fucking... Well, it wasn't big. It was, I think, very much bombed as a movie. But I remember it. It was a fucking movie I watched quite a lot as a kid and enjoyed it quite a lot. Just a movie where, like, some kids get turned into fish, basically. Yeah. And there was a great song about it. It went like... I'm a little yellow fish in the deep blue sea.
Oh, I've heard this song. I've heard this song.
Somebody help me. Yeah, it's from that movie. Brian got to sit down and have a chat with the director about it.
That's cool.
And it was just a really interesting chat about like how it all came about. I think he's Danish or Swedish or something of that region. But yeah, it was a really interesting conversation. I enjoyed it quite a lot. So go check that out. It's a lot of fun, I think.
That's a random pull, isn't it?
It is. I was very surprised when I saw it. I thought that's impressive, man. That's sick. I love that.
That is cool. Side point, by the way, Brian and David, doors open. When are you joining us? Come on, boys.
There you go. Door is open.
I would love that. I think that'd be very fun. I don't know what we'd talk about, but hey.
Open invitation, dealer's choice. Them being the dealer in that case.
Yes, then being yes, that's our rule, isn't it? Anyone that guests, we're like, we can talk about what you want to talk about, unless we really don't want to.
Yeah, unless we go, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. But what if they slightly veered you into something else that is maybe our idea and not yours?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Brian and David, welcome anytime. So there you go.
Yeah, especially seeing as you're pulling in cool directors, and we're just stuck talking to each other every week.
Yeah. Let us talk to cool directors instead of this fucking idiot here.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. Yeah, go check those out. And thank you very, very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please feel free to leave us a little 5-star review. It'd be very much appreciated. If you haven't enjoyed the show, you may as well check out and come back in about 12-ish weeks from now. because this is going to be all X-Men all the time, pretty much. You can also follow us on Twitter. That'd be cool, at Another Happy Pod. You can suggest a topic for us to check out. But again, I just want to reiterate, 12 more weeks of X-Men first. So
It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. I'm excited.
It's going to be
for
great.
it.
We're going to have a great time. I can't wait. We get to watch X-Men 3
It's just
next
important to me that we let them know what they're in for, right? This is not ending anytime soon.
week. Lawrence, we get to experience true cinema next week, okay?
Oh, well, okay. All right. I actually have not revisited next week in a very long time. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. There's a little sting. I wonder if you can figure out what it'll be. We also, if you feel so inclined, have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes. That would be very cool if you want to help us out with the running of both of those shows. Obviously, no pressure. All the episodes will be available for free forever. And speaking of both shows, Nathan, we have another podcast, don't we?
We do.
What's it called?
It's called Still Got Legs.
Okay. What is Still Got Legs?
It's a Doctor Who rewatch podcast.
And when do those episodes come out?
They come out Monday.
Nice. And where can the listeners listen to those episodes?
Same place they listen to this episode.
And how do they follow us if they wanted to stay up to date?
Look, it's called Still Got Legs. It's a Doctor Who rewatch podcast where every week we watch and discuss an episode of Doctor Who. I've never once shouted out the Twitter on this thing. So
I just
don't
wanted
know
to
why.
see how many prompts I could get you to do.
I don't know why you're suddenly putting that on me now. But yeah, it's a great show. It's a lot of fun. If you like Doctor Who, come listen to us. Have some fun and argue about it. And you can listen to all of Lawrence's dumb, wrong opinions on Doctor Who.
I feel like that's mean, but that's fine. You can do that. That is true. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you next Friday for more X-Mania. Stay sexy, stay cool, stay beautiful. Nathan, what should they stay?
They should stay excited for more extra X-Mania, X-Men themed content. X.